sessions today. I had a blast today with everybody that I worked with. But this last session that I had earlier, there's a new healing. So I wanted to tell you about it. I connected to them. We haven't known each other for very long. There was a cancellation, so they filled the spot. And I love when there's a cancellation because I feel like the person's holding the spot for the people who really need it. This person's name is Lorraine, and I'm going to tag them in this. Probably going to be a 2-part series. So first, when I connected, I was like, I felt like I was laying in a bed with my head against a headboard, but it was their husband who was in bed with COVID. And I was like, that's very invasive, sir. Like, I'm not trying to feel you out. I'm trying to connect to your wife, like, energetically telling his soul, like, excuse me, sir, please, I'm not trying to merge with you and connect with you. I did not get your consent for this. So he was making his presence known right away. And that was so while doing the healing with Lorraine, like working through her body, doing the layers like I like to do, her intention that what she wanted to get out of the session was to kind of figure out some of her own spiritual toolbox, figure out her own spiritual gift. And I was like, okay, well, we'll tell your team, your guides, whatever, we want to do that while we're doing the layers. If it could come up, that'd be great. In the middle of going through all of the healing stuff that I do with people, it showed her husband again, and it was his chest was lit up. And so I was like, what do you think's going on? So she felt around, and there were pockets of like congestion that she had to push through, and then she had to do a lung healing, and it was hilarious. Because when she does her energetic work, she was this itty-bitty dentist. And this dentist had, like, science goggles on and a headband with a big light and like, a little water pick. And one of those, like, wooden Q-tip kind of things. She even had a little... So anyway, miniature Lorraine is inside the lungs, and she's scraping the lungs like you would scrape off tartar. And then she's, like, doing these things and infusing mint, and she, like, cleaned out the chest cavities, and then she cleared out the throat, and she cleared out the nasal passages, and all this stuff. And she's this little thing. I'm cracking the fuck up, because so many people in the spiritual community are like, oh, you've got to meditate, and you've got to connect to your deities, and you've got to pray, and you've got to da-da-da-da-da. And it's seriously like a cartoon. Like, every single time we do this, I can't tell you, I was telling Lorraine, in a puzzle-solving adventure, sometimes it's just pushing buttons and doing the fucking safety dance. Like, I don't know what to tell you guys. That is literally how it works. It's hilarious. You think it's your imagination, and it's not. So in the next video, I'm going to do a testing 1, 2, 3. I tried the healing on myself. I'm not a smoker. I'm not sick, and it worked for me. Great session yesterday, and it was a perfect example of what someone might come to a healer like me for, so I wanted to share it. I worked with Trisha, and Trisha's ear had been ringing nonstop, and she had a terrible pain in the back of her head, top of her spine. And this was a spiritual pain. This was not a physical kind of pain. So if she was to go to any other healer or medical professional, they would, hit it with their expertise, but it would not take care of the issue of what was happening to her. So she went to someone like me who could help her. Well, we worked on the speaker system that's connected to her ears. I know that sounds crazy, but honestly, it's what it is. Energetic speaker system. And then we went into her control room. And inside her control room, I was like, it feels like the piano from Big. And she's like, okay, I know what that is. And then I was like, it doesn't feel right in here, so let's do your house cleanse. Let's clean this up. And then I was like, okay, now it's turned into one of those. Do you remember those, like, computers from the late 90s, early 2000s, the iMacs? And they were like a bright blue, like that color blue or this color blue, or like a bright pink or a bright green. And it was like a rounded cube, and it had a handle on the top of the computer. And she's like, oh, yeah. And I was like, is your aesthetic like 90s bubblegum pop kind of stuff? And she was like, no, not really. And I was like, okay. So we removed the mirages, and I was like, oh, oh, you're shabby chic. And she's like, that's exactly what I am. I'm exactly shabby chic. And I was like, okay. And your operating system is more like it's not like a bright white. It's more like a cream white. It's the kind of thing that if it's technology, you have it to where it doesn't look like technology because it's in, like, it looks like shabby chic. It's supposed to look like it's not very technical, even though it's very advanced. And she's like, yep, that's exactly my aesthetic. And I was like, okay, now that we got this back in order, the next thing we did was look at the fear cord removable spot in the back of her head. Now, she had done my fear cord series that is in YouTube, and she was ending up having to do it once a day because it was like there was something implanted in it energetically to where it couldn't close up, and they could keep sticking the fear cord back in her. So we had to douse it in MEK, clean it out, and then merge all the nerve endings and everything back together again, and then put a sealant on it so it couldn't be touched. Her neck and back hadn't hurt for the first time in forever. Actually, I get that kind of feedback all the time. It's like, holy shit, my back doesn't hurt anymore. And it's like, yep, yeah, took care of it. But it was a 30-minute session. No big deal. Got a lot done. Quick, in and out. That's what she said. That's the kind of healer I am. And that's the kind of thing that people book sessions with me for. Okay, bye. Kate and Shaden to Tarpon Springs because they live here now. And I was like, let's go check out like some, area, local area that's not too far away. I know I had a past life here. I was a deep sea diver. I know my leg got caught, and I know that a shark ate me. Not for any other reason, like my leg got caught. And if you know the old deep sea diver outfits, they're a little cumbersome. And I knew about this, and I thought I had healed it. But as we're sitting there eating lunch, I'm feeling like really not so great. Like really not so great. So we look into it a little bit further. I know that my ex-husband was actually my uncle, and I was his nephew, he was my uncle, I was the nephew. Basically, Kate tunes into me, and I have MRSA, and she's cleaning me out. I'm about to throw up, sitting at this table eating lunch. It was not good. We have to convince my stubborn ass not to go in the water that day, but I have to take care of my family, blah, blah, blah. This story is not as well put together as I thought it was going to be because I'm still kind of recovering from it. But I am going to show Kate the house I almost bought, which is where we all lived together in that time period over in this area. So that'll be cool. It's also, of course, lining up with some interactions I've had with my kid and with the baby's dad the last couple of days because they were with me in that life, and it affected it, and it made it kind of more volatile interactions than they needed to be. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes you will get in a fight with someone in the current and it won't make any sense to you, and it's connected to a past life thing that's coming up, and your soul is feeling that energy because it doesn't just go the distance. Like you can't it's not just about healing other people by tuning into their energy frequency. You can do it anywhere on the timeline, and you can feel it inside yourself as well. Kate, how did you heal the MRSA?
Okay, so what I did was I went in and opened up the wound and had to infuse it with oxygen, because that's how you heal MRSA, like in a doctor's setting, is you have to open up the wound and expose it to oxygen.
It was uncomfortable. It was very uncomfortable.
Extremely disgusting, and I had to cleanse my physical hands off afterwards.
Sorry.
But other than that, then I exposed it to oxygen, and then I had to like close it back up, clean it, and all that kind of stuff. Extremely disgusting.
But now Kate has a MRSA healing, so there's that. Okay, bye.
Hi, Shannon.
Okay, so it was nasty from that past life, cleaning off and healing, and I thought it was good. And then we were like, oh, let's walk around. Tarpon Springs is great and fun. And checking out some local shops, and I decided to sit down because I was in a lot of pain again. But I was sitting there, and Kate and Shaden went to go look at some shops, and they came back. And I was like, I don't fucking know what's going on. Because I'm a feeler, I feel things in my body, but I don't see. And it was just like I was being pulled to the ground. It was very, very heavy, very uncomfortable. but there were these 3 trees in front of me where I was sitting, where I just decided to sit down, of course. And one looked like it had a human heart kind of growth on it. And Kate was like, oh, those 3 trees look like the 3 fates. And I was like, oh shit. And I posted a couple days ago the connection there. Started healing that, releasing anything that might be stuck in the tree. Like, Shirley, that's what I'm feeling. Which one of you's name is Shirley? Sorry. I started feeling this, and then I kept getting pulled down and down, and it was like my legs were all entangled, and Kate's like, yeah, there's a mass grave here, and your roots are all in a bunch of bodies. And I was like, that's fun. So we healed as much as we could there, or as much as we felt comfortable with, and then moving on. There was still more. There's a lot of unearthed, uncovered history there. When we got back into the car, I looked up like the real history. You're not going to find the real history on Google, by the way, but there was a mass grave on the area that we were of 600 bodies. So yeah, something went down there. I don't know what. Do you know what? Yes. That's it. Okay, that's it. We're gonna look at it later. Okay, bye. But in case it's not obvious, it's colonizer stuff. I had a really great session yesterday. I'm gonna keep it anonymous. They started out saying that they had a very bad relationship with food. And I was like, wait. What do you mean? And they said it started at a young age, and they used food to gain control. And I said, who told you that you used food to gain control? Who told you this? And they said, well, when I was little, I ate like it was bad. Like I ate leftover cupcakes out of the trash can. And I went, what age? And they're like around 3 or so. And I said, first of all, let me fucking tell you something. There's no such thing as leftover cupcakes. I need that to sink in with you. Ask anybody. There's no such thing as leftover cupcakes. So whoever put the cupcakes in the trash can, that was a form of manipulation. Okay? Second thing I want you to know, as a 3-year-old, you don't know that the trash can is garbage. You don't know that it's trash at all. And if your puzzle-solving mind, naturally, your soul naturally fixes things that don't make sense and puts things back to the right order, and you see cupcakes in the trash can, you're probably going to take them out of the trash can to fix a situation that doesn't make any sense. And then an adult tried to tell you that you were so disgusting or obsessed with food that you were eating food out of the trash can. And it just started to click a bunch of stuff for them. I said, okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to walk back to 3-year-old Jew, and you're going to treat her like you're her sister. And I was like, what were you trying to gain control of? And she's like, well, my parents used to fight a lot, and she went into more details. I said, so what you're going to do is you're going to become that version of you's spirit guide. And as you need to gain control, it's another thing is, since you are a healer, since you are a trauma healer, since you are a puzzle solver, that version of you tried to put yourself in the middle of the fights between you and your mom, or your mom and your dad. You need to take control in a different way. You need to let her know that it's not her fault. Not only is it not her fault, but it's not her job to fix it. You're going to explain to her how to handle those situations ahead of time. And I want you to take her in the other room and let her parents fight it out. And you're even going to say, it's going to be a while, let's bring snacks. Next thing I want you to do is teach that version of you at a young age to pull out toxins from food and infuse nutrients and vitamins. There's more, I'll leave it at that. I needed to document this, but it was way too much to type out. So there's a few things. Okay. So somehow we kept getting the message, or Kate kept getting the message, that COVID was connected to the polio vaccine, or to polio in general. This is a heated debate. This is just from personal experience. I'm documenting my work. Just letting you know ahead of time, it's a heated topic. Jess also got a message the other day, and she pushed it forward of like, was this other disease like a different disease? Was it manufactured or was it naturally occurring? And here's the thing, germs are very real, yes, but let me preface this by, a lot of people think, oh, I'm gonna go sci-fi here for just a fucking minute. Hold on. A lot of people think that like alien technology or futuristic technology, they call it futuristic technology, but if you look back at the actual history of how like the world was carved and like that there's ancient batteries and all of that stuff, there were civilizations that had vast knowledge. We are actually a newer version of Earth. Check out my Project Earth series for more information about that. Going back. So, they used to use, just like the COVID has the Delta, Veta, Theta, all that shit, Beta, all that stuff, variants, which are brain waves. Not to say that germs aren't active and real. Wash your hands, please, people. And if you feel like you need to wear a mask, do it. If you feel like you need to vaccinate, do it. Whatever. I'm just letting you know. Okay. So, go back to a thing that my mom uses to advocate getting the vaccine. One of her biggest selling points is when she was a child, she was born in 1965. When she was a child, one day in school, everybody just got a sugar cube for the polio vaccine and they just took it. And then polio magically disappeared. This is equivalent to landing on the moon sightings, or like what the moon vehicle on the moon would look like, and it looked like a paper cutout with stars in the ceiling. So at that point in time, they could get rid of all of polio with a sugar cube, but they can't cure cancer or AIDS now. It doesn't add up. So here's what it was. What we saw, what we cleared, what we healed. The sugar cube had the little bits of microchips in it and the chemicals and the electrodes that went into the DNA blood system to get passed down through the generations. It's like a software upgrade for the new technology, or the technology to use, because they were using radio waves. Now they're using different waves for global pandemic situations. God, I sound like a nut job. Stay with me, I'm just talking. Because we were able to jump on the timeline wherever, I have so many series about that. Healing your now, inner child past life healing, how to do this, why we heal trauma, why we heal historical trauma, lives saved where we go and do all this. I've got all of that. Because we're able to jump on the timeline wherever, we were able to go and defrag and deactivate any type of, and that's just like, okay, we think this is what happened, this is what we're getting channeled that we need to do, so we do the steps to do it. So we go, spirit, if it's in the highest good and we're allowed, please deactivate and defrag any microchips that would have been in those sugar cubes for as far as we're allowed. Then we energetically feel the movement of the shit that we do. And we go, okay. Then it was like, oh, and electrodes. Oh, electrical units. Get rid of those too. Oh, okay. And moldavite. I have series on moldavite and how it's in the whatever. Okay, do that. Then yesterday I was guided to post, again, the infuse with nail polish removal because it's formaldehyde. So then it was like, okay, infuse anyone that accepts it's allowed, it's in their highest good and their soul allows it, infuse it with nail polish removal, and also all the sugar cubes, because I know we can do the sugar cubes, we might not be able to do all the people, because healing with consent kind of thing. So after we did that, we were able to push everything fucking through. That was that part of the healing. Then it was like, what else do we need to do? It was ripple it through, and then that got rid of a lot of other shit that was there. Because how would polio just magically disappear? And then like how all of a sudden does all this other stuff just wave in? Whatever. It also made it to where people are like, vaccines work. We took a sugar cube and it got rid of everything. There's mind manipulation and control. I know a lot of my shit sounds conspiracy theory, but I do not speak on theories. I literally speak on experiences that I'm a part of healing, and I document my work. Then we were led, oh, that one sounds fucking nuts. If you thought that series was nuts, I don't even want to tell you about the other thing that we did. So I'm just going to say this. We did some work on weather control systems, above, below, and between. I really want to tell that story time, but it's so fucking bizarre. You can ask to see it in the Akashic records. It's all there. Everything's documented there as well. So you can say, Spirit, if it's in the highest good, please show me what Kat and Kate did today, August 27th, on the hurricane stuff. Or you can see all the storm work that all of us have done. It's all written. It's all in the Akashic. Everything's available for you to view, not just on my page. Okay, bye! There's something crazy that happens to me. Not very often. But it's one of the things... I can laugh about it now. I healed someone who was using sulfur to fight off an infection. And it turned my skin red. The red is starting to go down. But it was all over me. Like I broke out in a rash. It's on my ankles, it's on my knees, it's on my face. This person was not in front of me. I connected to them and pulled stuff out of them, and my body had a chemical reaction to how much sulfur they had in them. I felt like a vampire in the sun. Like everything was burning, everything was red, my whole head was on fire. Oh my God, it was so bad. You can see a little bit there and there. Most of the red has gone down. When I say I connect to you and I feel that you're high, when I say I feel the chemicals in you, when I say I connect to you to heal you, when someone used to wear jewelry and it would burn me, I know what the fuck I'm talking about.